Good Sunday morning. Let's take a look at this here. Oh, here, I'll try to link this copy. Oh, it won't work, I don't think. Not sure how to link the live stream yet for people. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not sure exactly how you can watch the live stream directly on YouTube or how I can post the link for it. I'm gonna just grab my Twitch one. And if someone's watching live, they can watch it live. There we go. Copy. And we'll just edit this and put it in there. Paste. Okay. So, yeah, it's really irritating. I wonder why I can't show that live video. Let's see if this works. Technical difficulties, I guess. Alright, edit this again. Let's see if this link works. Paste. Oh yeah, there it is. Right on. So we're on the forum looking at this toolpath selection issue. And I'm going to turn off this Twitch player I have in the background that's making some noise. Alright, so this is where we're at right now. There's an issue with, alright, there's a first question. I see many people suggesting sketch checker. Alright, that's true, and Big Daddy followed up with the link for that. Working through all closed segments, I think. Hopefully, so this is not an issue. This file started as a JPG and was converted, so I don't know if that's an issue. Well, then it's gonna, it won't have any real geometry. Fourth, I seem to be grasping toolpath selections for things that I create, but other file types that are import converted, mainly pictures, are really difficult to deal with. Is this normal? It can be, depending on the file. Here's the file I'm dealing with. I understand that some of the points are going to drop out some of the points are going to drop out when cut. So I may do multi-layers, but the main issue is just selecting the toolpath. I'm not sure where to start. Okay, let's download this. Open up Fusion. Open this file up and we'll see what's happening. Alright. Big brawler beards. Okay. So, is this just the design? So we got to here, we got to set up to there, to that point. Alright, let's go back to here, and I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of frame around this, so I'm just going to do that quickly. Except that I'll do it in the same sketch. Which actually doesn't look too bad. See how small some of that stuff is. Alright. So I guess we're doing something like that and trying not to get some of these bits falling out. Or do the multi-layer thing, which makes sense too. You definitely do extrude this. Maybe. You could get some of that other middle piece in there too, in that first section. Open up this a bit, maybe. use some marks here. I'm going to offset this. This is by no means any sort of design tutorial, just more so getting this thing done. Okay, let's say that's what we end up going with, and we're going to cut out the rest on a separate layer. Ooh, it would be nice to get that. Okay, do this as the first layer. Cannot complete extrusion. More information, please. Try changing the profile. Well, you might have a legitimate issue here. I'm going to go back right to the raw one before I do any changes to see what I can extrude or not. See if I can extrude that. Okay, so it doesn't like part of that drawing somewhere. Let's see where that part of the drawing is. Well, it's definitely on that side. So let's, this is the divide and conquer methodology for finding errors in drawings and things that Fusion doesn't like. It's a little tedious, but it can be done. So let's try this again. Try to extrude this bottom part. Just trying to divide it down until I can figure out where the actual issue is. So it likes all that. Let's try this again. Okay, it must be in that wedge. Let's divide that wedge down again. Alright, cancel. So it must be in this wedge. And then we'll just find this little error in here that's causing some issues. Because Fusion is a CAD program and not really a design program in that sense, it does sometimes have issues with geometry. Excuse me. And it's usually, what I've found in the past, it's usually points like, let's see if what we can see on OBS here, like this, where it's a arc getting cut off acutely like that. Okay, let's some profiles failed to create tool bodies. This little area, eh? Cancel. Oops. One. Huh. But it doesn't like that, eh? Yeah, so our problem lies somewhere in this geometry. So let's get in there and fix that. And it's going to be some silly little thing. Let's divide this thing in half and just see what's what. There it is. I bet you it's going to be on that eye. Right there. So a lot of the time it is these points where you have these arcs coming together. So let's just see if it is that. I'm going to use the radius tool here. Actually, let's go back and get rid of all this now that we've isolated it. Yeah, I can see how that'd be a big pain for you, especially a newer user to navigate that. Arc tool, fillet. Nope. Yeah, it doesn't even want to fillet that thing. Remember the escape button, it's your friend. Alright, let's extrude this thing. There you go. That was our little issue right there, is that piece of geometry. Let's go back and just take a look at that again, because I've seen that come up several times, those so I'm gonna right or Control Z, go back one, undo. We'll take a look at that again. So the issue is right here. For some reason, Fusion does not like when things terminate like this sometimes. So I wonder if I can coincident constraint these things. Let's see. I wonder if that would solve the problem. Nope. But if I just nip that tip off with some tool, however I want to do it. Oh, hey, delete that whole circle. Oops. We'd be able to now extrude it. There we go. You can just cut that out the way it is and mount it onto something, yeah. Alright, anyhow, let's go into the manufacturing workspace. We'll start with the setup. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to zoom out here. And here's our setup menu here. I'm going to move our stock box point origin to the bottom left-hand corner. Right now it's saying we selected the sketch because that's all you had before, which is fine. I'm going to actually select the body instead. And then stock, it looks like you have a top and side offset on yours. I usually like to put, you know, let's say a 1/4 inch stock offset and no top offset. Excuse me. Now in the post processor, I'd usually name this so the name carries forward to my NC file. I don't have to remember to put it in at the end. Holy, I got my cap locks on. Brawler beards. Okay. And now we'll go into manufacturing. We'll grab a cutting tool. Let's see what you're using here. If it gives it to me. Yeah, you had this cut 60 tool, so I'm going to use that. And you're running that at this lower lead-in feed rate and feed-out rate. I'll assume that you modified that on purpose some reason. Okay, let's cut all that. I'm going to reduce the tolerance here by 1 magnitude, and I'm also going to turn on the smoothing. What this is going to do is take out some of the slider variations, and it tells you exactly what it's going to do if you hover over it for a second. Tolerance. Tolerance is used when linearizing geometry, such as splines and ellipses. The tolerance is taken as the maximum chord distance. So you can see what it's doing. And the reason we do this is a couple reasons. Data saving. It's going to vastly reduce the amount of lines of G-code, which is both going to help develop the tool, and it's going to be nicer on every part of the operation after this for running it. So that's probably the more important reason for running this. We could develop a toolpath with and without doing it. You can see how many lines different of G-code is involved. But anyhow, let's that looks good. I'm not going to get into any crazy other settings. I usually like to do a little bit of a lead-in radius. And it depends how you want to do these lead-ins. Let's go 70. I don't even know how big this thing is. It might be super small. That's why I was having trouble calculating. Get rid of that pierce clearance, get rid of lead out. Okay. So it's developing over here. It says 0%, still says 0%, 10, 44, 70, 97, done. All right, so now we've developed this tool path. It's given us a warning, so let's take a look at that warning. We'll hover over it. It says parameters, toolpath, 1 or more passes were discarded due to linking constraints. So when it says linking constraints, what it's talking about is, let's go to edit. We're going to edit this tool. We'll go to linking, and these are the constraints, and this is the linking. So linking constraints. And it's just saying, based on all the information you've put in here, and one of the pieces that isn't in here is your kerf width of your tool, made it so it chose to discard either getting really tight into a corner somewhere or a small little opening it couldn't fit its tool into. So let's take a look if we can find maybe some misses. Yeah, see, it's probably talking like it discarded coming into here. Ironically, that this was the thing screwing us up to begin with. Seems to have gotten most of it. All right, let's take a look at the simulation here. Yeah, so when it was saying that it discarded some geometry, that was going to be when it was trying to fit into these little tight patches here, and it just said, oh, I can't do it, and so it was just letting us know that it wasn't going to be a perfect true representation just based on the settings we gave it. I think that's not too bad. Yeah, see, or like this area where it felt like it couldn't get into. But either way, it developed G-code for us, so let's exit that. Just for our own interest here, let's post this thing. Setup 1. I like to always click this setup header before I post the G-code in case I have multiple tool paths, because sometimes you can accidentally just be on one tool path and then click G-code and it's just going to produce G-code for that one tool path. So I always like to click the setup involved. Go in here, big brawler beards, and yeah, the machines crosshair pro. We're going to put in, and just whatever your parameters happen to be working for you. Something like that. Let's post it. I'm curious. Let's take a look at how many lines of G-code we have here. Sure, open. So $3,932. Perfect. Let's go back to Fusion. I am going to recreate this toolpath, and I'm going to get rid of that tolerance. I'm going to put it up a magnitude. Okay, let's let it regenerate that toolpath. It'll probably take a second longer because it's, you know, whole magnitude of resolution better it's trying to get now. Yeah, it usually goes 0, 9, back to 0, and then starts interpreting. And yeah, right now it's having a tough time figuring out, but no, it looks like it got passed. Chugging along here. All right. So, maybe even a little bit better of a representation. You can see it got a little deeper into these corners here. It still didn't pick up this eye, but it couldn't fit there. You'd have to do a kerf width adjustment for that. Anyhow, it still gave us the warning, one or more passes were discarded due to linking constraints. Now let's post this. And we're gonna call this, we'll call it 2. And we'll post it with the same post processor. Post. Let's view that code. All right. And now for this one, we have 4,982 lines of G code doing the same thing. So that's, I don't know, 25% or 20% more information, more code than is necessary. So there's no point in encumbering the machine. That's why I like to reduce the tolerance. I've had people ask quite a few times. Plus it will be less likely it's going to get hung up on that forever thinking that it gets hung up on. That used to be very bad back in the day, but it's mellowed out over time. I want to go back and try to, I'm going to reopen it again, just your raw file that you sent me. Now in here, I'm going to just go straight to manufacturing, and let's just make a toolpath. And I'm going to use that one tool you have, and I'm going to select the sketch this time. It's in the middle, but oh well. So I like to select, if I'm going to select the sketch and not do the extrusion part, I like to go over to here and go to models and move down and keep opening up tabs until I get to my sketch, select it. You can see it's shows here sketch profile 1. Now I'll go over here. We're going to reduce the tolerance. Actually, no, because you would have likely not reduced the tolerance. So let's just use some of these. Let's get rid of the pierce clearance. I'm going to get rid of the lead out. I'm going to reduce this a little bit just to give us a fighting chance here. All right. Let's see what it wants to come up with. So I can see if you're trying to hand select all the geometry on here, that would have been a insufferable nightmare. And that's actually when Fusion, people were first getting at Fusion, that's how it was done a lot. And I think it turned a lot of people off. Oh, look, it's generating G code here. It's a little slower, definitely. $90, $91. 94. And this is the unedited one. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see why you're having problems. It didn't like the way that looked. If we're just doing the sketch, I can see why you'd have selection errors. Yeah, because that's not going to cut nice. Oh, I see. It's got a huge. I put a huge lead in, and maybe it's not the. This is a me problem. Yeah. Let's try that. I think some of the lead ins and lead outs are on the wrong side, selecting it that way, so you'd almost be forced to individually select it. Yeah, I can see why that would be a nightmare. Let's see what we're doing. 0%. Hopefully it picks up a little bit more of what we want. Oh, there we go. Still on the wrong side of the line for some of this stuff. Yeah, selecting this in the sketch environment is kind of gross. All right, I'm gonna close that, don't save. What I'm going to do is I will save this F3D and post it back to the forum. Oh no, my talking face isn't working. There we go. The best part. All right. So that's cool. I might do another video of trying to do this double layer. But anyhow, hope you enjoy.